Hi, hello.
Sound check.
Hey guys, are we ready? Six rounds.
12 races.
Tough competition.
Real racing.
From Bahrain to Saudi Arabia.
Iconic tracks.
And breathtaking destinations.
This is the second season.
This is
The Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East.
we're ready to go.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it? Oh no, it's only just about to begin. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us wherever you are around the world. We are here at the Bahrain International Circuit for the start of Season 2 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. So this is a brand new championship then. Well, last year it was, and it sort of wasn't. They've been racing Porsches here in various guises for over a dozen years, but it became a Carrera Cup, one of 12 now across the globe last season for the very first time. And Season 2, we are back. And as with last year, starting at the Bahrain International Circuit. 2 races this weekend, heading on to Qatar at the end of November before visiting Dubai, Abu Dhabi, a return to Bahrain in the spring to join the Formula One World Championship, and then the season finale in Saudi Arabia. So a host of drivers from across the globe and local drivers as well. Now, this started as a mixed Porsche championship a number of years ago, operated and mentored by the Lechner Racing team from Austria, but in the last couple of seasons has got more and more serious, and last year made its debut as the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. So from the Porsche Sprint Challenge and Porsche Sprint Cup to the Carrera Cup status, and that means that now there are no more Boxsters or GT4s. Everything is the 911 Cup car, the same 650 horsepower rear drive 6-speed car that is used in all the other Carrera Cups around the world, and also in the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup. So this is a proper racing weapon. It rewards aggression balanced with a little bit of finesse, but it is a very special driving experience. And there are 15 cars on the grid this weekend, a combination of local drivers. We have rookie drivers, experienced, in some cases highly experienced drivers, and a bunch of Europeans and from across the globe, as well as our drivers from the Gulf region. So a number of the cars being run by teams that are very familiar from other endurance racing series, and also from Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, Carrera Cup Deutschland, and so on. So names like Team GP Elite, multiple Super Cup champions and Carrera Cup Deutschland champions, Proton Huber competition, who've got vast experience in one-make Porsche racing and in the wider endurance racing world as well. And a group of smaller teams operating these cars. So 2 30-minute races this weekend, and the grid for both races will be set in this 30-minute qualifying session, which will get underway in just 1 minute. As you can see from the camera shots, it's a pretty breezy morning this morning, and that means that all of the track time yesterday from these cars and from the World Endurance Championship, clearing away the sand from the track, that work is a little bit undone because it's been a blustery morning, and there will be sand blown back onto the circuit. Now, it's a very restricted tyre allocation, just 2 sets of tyres for the weekend, and it may be that drivers, having set a quick lap and a second quick lap, may not change tyres and keep one fresh set for either race 1 or race 2. But it is equally possible within the 30 minutes for the drivers to come into the pit lane here and put on a fresh set of tyres to go for another qualifying run. So your fastest lap time in the entire session will be your grid position for race 1. Your second fastest lap time will be your grid position for race 2. So it's by no means guaranteed that the same driver will end up on pole for both races. And note I say driver there rather than the same man, because we have male and female drivers in the field, or at least one female driver in the field, the first such in the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. So first to venture out on circuit, Krista Andero. Krista from Sweden, and run by Proton Huber Competition. Now they are a team that really do know how to get the best out of these Porsche Cup cars. So he will go out and build up to speed gradually, followed out by the purple car for Angus Whiteside, one of 2 British drivers in the field. And he, like Krista, running in the, in fact Krista's running in the Masters class, Angus Whiteside running in the Pro class. Just saw one of Czech driver Petr Brecker being run by GT Sports Technology. Now, all of the drivers have had 2 free practice sessions, in fact, where they were the very first racing cars on track this weekend, starting on Thursday morning. 45-minute free practice 1, followed by the World Endurance Championship continuing to clear the track for 90 minutes. And then they had a second free practice session. Now that may well influence where we're expecting to see the drivers in terms of their performance in qualifying, but not necessarily, because qualifying is a very different kettle of fish. Looking here at our Japanese representative, Banksy, driving obviously under a nom de plume. Not quite sure what the official term for a pseudonym as a racing driver is, rather than as a writer. But Banksy from Japan, with experience in the Porsche Carrera Cup Japan as well. So not unfamiliar with this machinery, but his first time here at the Bahrain International Circuit. So like everybody else, the key here to getting a quick qualifying lap, as well as being fast on that lap, is actually warming the tyres and bringing the tyres in without asking too much of them. Because of the abrasive nature of this track, it is quite easy to over-egg it and bring the tyres in a little too hard, and then you find yourself struggling when you're looking for that second or third or maybe even fourth quick lap, but the edge has really gone. And don't forget that the tyres, whether it's 1 set or 2 that they use here in qualifying, they will use in the races as well. To see the front of the front cover there lifting up on Banksy's car, not quite sure why that might be. Car number 5, the blue and yellow machine, Soren Spreng from Germany. And Soren, one of our expected front runners this season, raced in last year's Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East and became the first ever Pro-Am champion. Remains in the Pro-Am class, run by Team GP Elite. And he is also a 2 times Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland Pro-Am champion. He's been a regular here over the last few seasons, raced in Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland since 2018, and occasional appearances in the Porsche Mobile One Super Cup as well. Now he's just warming the car up and moving to one side to allow Petr Brecker to come through. Petr starting a A hot lap. Oh, got to try and avoid too much over-rotation there or sliding the car. This is a low-grip circuit, but perversely, it's very high in tyre degradation. It's got a very aggressive aggregate in the tar. Banksy quickest at the moment. So looking good for him so far. Just go and pick up the fastest times from qualifying and see what perhaps we might expect in from free practice, and see what we might expect in terms of qualifying pace. Well, the first free practice session, which was this time of day yesterday, saw Janis Stierk at the top of the pile ahead of Colin Bernighausen. Now, as you can see, they remain in the pit lane, as actually about half the field do. 7 of our 15 cars in the field. This is Angus Whiteside, the second car being run by Proton Huber Competition. Now, his compatriot, James Wallace, remains in the pit lane. Angus out on track early on. Pro-Am champion in Porsche Carrera Cup GB in the current season. And there you can see the 2 green and white cars from Saudi Racing. Car number 23 we saw first, Khaled Al Ahmadi, and car number 3, Saud Al Saud. And both of them running in the Pro-Am category. 3 categories then, and they are shown on screen. The gold is the Pro-Am category, silver back into the numbers. That beg your pardon. Pro is the gold colours, silver is the Pro-Am colours, and the bronze is the Masters. Now, Masters replaces what was last year the Am category, and those are cars that will still have ABS and traction control. In the Am and Pro-Am category, those driver assistance aids are not available. And the Masters category is essentially for drivers over the age of 40 and who have never had an International A or an International B licence. So that's to avoid older, let's say, ex-Grand Prix or World Championship drivers of various different levels arriving in the Masters category. It is really designed very much for impecunious gentleman drivers. So Angus Whiteside with the fastest time at the moment from this man, Banksy. And Chris Randero goes 3rd quickest ahead of Peter Brecker. Khaled Al Ahmadi, the quicker of the 2 Saudi racing drivers at the moment in car number 23. Angus Whiteside, 1800s up. Again, you can see how lightweight the bodywork is. So Peter Brecker from the Czech Republic. Got 3 representatives from the eastern part of Europe. Peter from the Czech Republic, and we got 2 Bulgarian drivers. Mike Mim, who originates from Bulgaria, although now lives in the USA. He's running in the Masters class. And our female driver, Alexandra Vateva, also from Bulgaria, and she is running in the Pro-Am category. And a rookie here, very much learning her way in these cars, coached by last year's rookie champion Rob de Haan. So Khaled Al Ahmadi got a lot of racing experience, and in this championship as well. So when this was the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East, he was the overall GT4 and GCC champion. The GCC is the Gulf region drivers. Little bit of a looping spin there for Krista Andero, and that definitely will not help the tyres. Krista currently 7th fastest. So Banksy has returned to the pit lane. May well be that he feels he's got the most out of the car and may not come back out on a fresh set of tyres and keep a fresh set maybe for race 2. Angus Whiteside clearly still feeling there are improvements, and he's not wrong. Purple sector 1, green sector 2. So this will be another quicker lap from him. 56 hundredths up. Sector 3 wasn't quite as fast. So at the moment, Angus Whiteside with the fastest lap and also the fastest second lap. So second on the timing screen, Peter Brecker, his quickest lap, 83 thousandths off at the moment. He goes purple in sector 2. Doesn't get an improvement in sector 3 either. Soren Spring only 7th fastest on his second best lap, although his best lap puts him 3rd. This is an improvement all round for him, or at least better in sector 1 and sector 2. He does not improve either in sector 3, but that is his second fastest lap, and that now brings him up to 3rd effectively on the race 2 grid. So Angus Whiteside, fastest and fastest in pro. Oh, and now the 2 pro drivers, Khaled Al Ahmadi and Saud Al Saud, go 2nd and 3rd. Then they get bumped down to 3rd and 4th by Thomas Kiefer. So Thomas in car number 44, also in Pro-Am, the fastest Pro-Am lap, and in fact he's just gone purple in sector 3, so that was the secret of his success. And there is Thomas, car number 44, so he has just bumped up to 2nd quickest. Oh, kicks up the dirt on the exit of turn 4. His second fastest lap only sees him in 5th place in the overall grid at the moment. And the overall grid will not be by class, it will be by lap time, so there is no rule that the pro drivers must start ahead of Pro-Am, no rule that Pro-Am must start ahead of Masters. You start where your time dictates. Angus Whiteside, fastest of all so far. This is an improvement again from Thomas Kiefer. Green first sector, and that means the best that he has done, not the best that anyone has done. Track limits infringement for Saud Al Saud, so his last lap time was deleted. And Thomas does not improve in sector 2. A little wide at turn 13 now, watching there for track limits. He may just have got away with that. A long downhill run to the final corners. Sort of long double apex right-hander here. Brings you out onto the start-finish straight. And the timing line a long way up the straight there, just before the bridge. So Thomas Kiefer improved in sector 1, but not in sector 2 or 3. Probably needs to just let the tyres cool down for a moment or two. Proton Huber's Krista Andero losing a lap time as well. Track infringement at turn 13. So Thomas Kiefer. Traction limiting wheel spin there. This is Mike Mim, first time we've seen him on track. And we still have yet to see half a dozen drivers nearly, leaving it a little bit longer before they come out on track. Mark Thomas, Janis Stierk, James Wallace, Colin Berninghausen and Alexander Vateva have yet to come out. Banksy, I think, may not re-emerge. We're still only halfway into the session. 30 minutes allowed for qualifying. So let's see what Mike Mim can do. Bulgarian-born, lives in the US. First time here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. Down through the hairpin, turn 9, 10, and then along the short back straight, and that is the Oasis pits on the driver's right there. That is the pit lane past the drag strip, in fact. That is the pit lane that the Carrera Cup Middle East are using. And as the exits the pit lane, just feeds there into this uphill section. They will start their races from the Formula One starting grid, where the World Endurance Championship will also start its race. But the pit lane is about halfway around the lap, so they'll have a run out to the grid for a standing start, as you would expect. Let's take a look here at Saif Al-Akhmari. First time we've seen him out. Mark J. Thomas leaving the pit lane as well. And Saif, another driver with experience in this series last year, but has been racing only since 2018. Started in the TRD 86 Cup. Has done a few 24-hour series races in Porsches. Raced in the AM class last season here, and instead of staying in Masters has moved up to Pro-Am. So his first time racing this weekend without traction control and ABS. And track limits violation for Mike Mim, so he loses time. Mark J. Thomas, a regular racing here in the Middle Eastern Series. Got lots of Porsche experience. And Mark Thomas, born and bred in Canada, but has been living and working here in the region for a number of years. And a proper motorsport fanatic. I think perhaps it's no surprise that the company of which he is the CEO, Bapco, is so involved in motorsport. So that's the Bahraini oil company. Former AM champion. Started racing in GTs back in 2008. Done a number of 24-hour races, raced in Dubai 24, Nürburgring 24. And he's raced all over the place. He's raced in the WeatherTech Sports Car Series. He's raced in Grand Am before that. He's raced in FIA GT, Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. And he's been racing in the Middle Eastern Series since 2011. Jonas Stier, James Wallace and Colin Berninghausen all leaving the pit lane at the moment. Soren Spreng back in, having completed 5 laps. Whoa! And this is Alexandra Vateva, our female driver. First in the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East, not the first to race in a Middle Eastern Series under a different name. That was Christina Nielsen, who raced in the Porsche Sprint Challenge a number of years ago. Warming the tyres, Colin Berninghausen in the Kartek Motorsport machine. Expect to see him battling for pole position. Raced in the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East last season along with his dad. He's been racing as a rookie in Carrera Cup Deutschland this season as well. Bred in Germany, Colin. in Carrera Cup Middle East. And he is running in his pro category. So Angus Whiteside currently still fastest from Thomas Kiefer and Khaled Al-Ahmadi. Peter Brecker fourth, got ahead of Saud Al-Saud. Soren Spreng, like Thomas Kiefer, in the pit lane at the moment. Banksy has come back out, so we may well see him using a second set of tyres. The DHL car, the car that was driven, or the colours that were used by the champion last year, driven here by Janusz Stierk, 17 years of age now. Last year raced here in Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. He was the youngest driver then, a year on, still the youngest driver. And right behind him, James Wallace in the Porsche Motorsport livery car. James Wallace is the Carrera Cup GB Junior driver, so he is Porsche GB Junior. Porsche Junior GB, as it is officially known. Christian Andero coming back out in the Proton Hoover car between the two of them. James Wallace just giving himself a little bit of breathing space and starting to pick up pace out of the final corner. James, another young driver, just 19 years of age, running in the rookie class here. This is his first time in the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East full time. He did 2 races last season. Raced in Carrera Cup Great Britain for the entire year, and also was a wild card in the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup at the British Grand Prix, so raced in the Mobil 1 Super Cup at Silverstone, run by Joe Tandy Racing. Interesting career path. He was never looking, it seems, to be the next Lewis Hamilton. Started out racing Citroën Saxos in 2019 at the age of 14. Then moved on through Fiestas and British GTs. Slide there from James. Raced in GT4 and GT3. So has experience of cars like this, and particularly these exact cars from Carrera Cup GB. And Colin, not only used to the cars, also used to the circuits that we will see in the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East this season, because he did them last year as well. Made his debut in the region a year ago here in Bahrain. The World Endurance Championship finale support races, the opening rounds, first ever races of Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. 6 minutes remaining. Colin Birninghausen goes quickest, the first man to go faster than Angus Whiteside, but his second best lap, Colin, is only 11th quickest at the moment. Janusz Stierk, green first sector, purple sector 2, and he just comes up shy by 33 thousandths. But Angus Whiteside now down to 3rd. Track limit infringement for Alexandra Vateva, so her last lap will not count. Drops her back down to 15th place. So here is Janusz Stierk in the DHL car, second quickest at the moment. He was purple in sector 2 and sector 3, really got the best out of the tyres for much of the lap, not quite as quick, no quicker than everybody else in sector 1, and that's where he needs to find a bit of an improvement on this lap. Who else has got a good time going? Well, Angus Whiteside is back out again, and his second fastest lap is still the best Angus Whiteside. He did not improve on his fastest lap, although he did make improvements in sector 2 and sector 3. Janusz Stierk, at the moment, he is green in sector 1, but 6 thousandths off the fastest sector from Colin Birninghausen. Birninghausen purple sector 2. If he keeps it clean, this will be a pole lap. His second best lap, only quick enough for 12th, but if he improves on this, then he will have the fastest 2 laps of the session, at least temporarily. Half a second up, 5500s up at the moment. But behind him, 5700s up, is Janusz Stierk. So as he crosses the line, Colin Berninghausen will go fastest. And he now has the fastest 2 laps. So he currently is on pole for both of our races. However, Janusz Stierk, second fastest and 14th fastest, goes top. And his second fastest lap is now good enough for second on the race 2 grid. This is where it all gets exciting. James Wallace comes across the line, third quickest, but his previous best lap, only good enough for 14th. So that was improvement for James, but not good enough to move him up the order. He remains third quickest ahead of Angus Whiteside. So at the moment, drivers more familiar with the track, first and second, and drivers making their debut here, and all British row 2. Then the best of our Pro-Am drivers, Thomas Kiefer and Khaled Al-Ahmadi. Then on row 4, currently the best of our Masters drivers, Peter Brecker and Banksy. Banksy remains out, no improvement in sector 1, that's a slower sector 1. Alexandra Vateva, though, has improved, she's up to 11th. And her second fastest lap is good enough for 6th on the grid, so that's a really good second quickest lap still for Alexandra Vateva. Mike Mim, the only person in the pits in the dying 3 minutes. Colin Berninghausen, no improvements. So he is second for race 1, pole for race 2 at the moment, unless Janusz Stierk can make this lap better than a 2:04.274. So we're looking for the DHL car of Janusz Stierk. Berninghausen, car number 55, Cartech Motorsport. Second and first, and Janusz Stierk currently first and second. Out is Angus Whiteside's. Better sector 1 from Whiteside. And he's currently, where is he? 4th and 3rd on his 2 laps. So anything he can find here, I'm sensing he's probably gone for a fresh set of tyres, will help him move up. Whether he's going to get onto row 1, not sure, we'll wait and see. Sector 2, not an improvement. That doesn't seem to have worked for him, does it? Same for James Wallace. Sector 1 was an improvement, Sector 2 and 3 weren't, and I think probably Sector 1 improving for both the British drivers, because they've just tidied up that turn 1, 2, 3 complex and slid a little bit less. Thomas Kiefer behind in 5th place. 1900ths of an improvement, so he's 5th for both races at the moment. Rotating very tightly there at the apex, Angus Whiteside. As we now pick up car number 23, Khaled Al-Ahmadi. Khaled, the 3rd of our Pro-Am drivers at the moment. Good sector 1, sector 2 not quite so sharp. Into the pits, Janusz Stierk and Colin Berninghausen. I think they have both done what they can. They will both start on the front race at the moment for both races. Janusz Stierk will be pole for race 1, second for race 2. Berninghausen second for race 1, pole for race 2. James Wallace 3rd. Saud Al Saud goes 4th. Khaled Al Ahmadi goes 5th. And Angus Whiteside does not improve and is pushed down to 6th place on the race 1 grid, though he's still got the 3rd fastest second lap. But the 2 Saudi racing drivers bouncing up to 4th and 5th ahead of pro driver Angus Whiteside. So last lap for all these drivers. And what has Angus produced? Well, not a better lap in sector 1 or 2. So this is probably not going to change his fate. He's not in cruise mode, still pushing on. Andero has taken the checkered flag, so too Peter Brecker. Banksy is back in the pit lane, so too Mark Thomas, Mike Mim and Saif Al-Ameri. So, Saud Al Saud, the number 3 Saudi car in its green and white with a green first sector, not so strong in sector 2. What does he need to bounce James Wallace out of 3rd? Well, not very much. James Wallace 8.17 back, Saud Al Saud 8.33 back. But at the moment, sector 2 has cost him rather too much. If he finds an improvement at the line, he might just move up. He does move up. Saud Al Saud moves up to 3rd fastest on the race 1 grid, and his 2nd best lap is also 3rd quickest. That's an excellent run from the experienced Saudi driver. The GCC champion last year, that will definitely be his target here. Started racing in 2017, Saud. And has raced in the 24-hour series, raced Porsches, and also races Formula 4 single-seaters. James Wallace heading back towards the checkered flag, last man to complete a flying lap. And this one, not an improvement in sector 1 or 2. So that sees him stay 4th place on the race 1 grid. He'll be 5th place on the race 2 grid. And not bad showing at all from the Porsche Junior GP driver. His first outing here at Bahrain. Not an easy track to get the best out of. So 30 minutes of qualifying is done and dusted. Our grid for today's race 1 will be as you see them at the moment. Janusz Dirk and Colin Berninghausen ahead of Saud Al Saud and James Wallace. Khalid Al Ahmadi ahead of Angus Whiteside on row 3. On row 4, Thomas Kiefer and Soren Spring. Row 5, Peter Brecker and Banksy. Alexandra Vateva and Mark Thomas will be on row 6 ahead of Krista Andero, Mike Mim and Saif Al-Ameri. And our first race begins at 5:45 local, which is coming up in 6 hours.
Hi, hello.
Sound check.
Hey guys, are we ready? Six rounds.
12 races.
Tough competition.
Real racing.
From Bahrain to Saudi Arabia.
Iconic tracks.
and breathtaking destinations.
This is the 2nd season.
This is
The Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East.
We're ready to go.
That's it?
That's it.